Okay, so I wanted to talk about, so you have the whole Neville Goddard thing, right? And you have Joseph Murphy, and they learned from Abdullah, okay? Now, I wanted to speak for a minute about some other teachers. For years, I read material by Arnold Patent and Robert Scheinfeld, right? Now, Robert Scheinfeld basically took the Arnold Patent material with his knowledge and consent, right? They're kind of like proteges, and he repackaged it into a format that a lot more people could probably relate to. He uses a metaphor kind of like computer programs, technology. You know, he talks about holograms. You know, he basically calls our life a hologram. We're living in a holographic reality, which also comes from elsewhere. But basically what Patent says is that we are these divine beings, right? Again, very consistent with what Neville Goddard says, right? Is that whereas Neville Goddard speaks more in the context of God splintered himself into humanity, right? And we are basically we're one with God, right? God is in us and we are in Him. In that context, it's more like a traditional religious context, if you will. Arnold Patent kind of speaks more along the lines of we are these godlike infinite beings, right? That I guess needed to entertain ourselves in a different way. Like if you're sitting there in paradise and you have everything at your command, that I guess you can get kind of bored, like through eons and eons of existence. So what do you do to break the cycle of boredom? You create this limited universe, reality, whatever, and you force yourself to be born into it. You forget, you wipe out your memory temporarily, and now you are an unlimited being forced to live in a very limited context of this reality, life on Earth, where you don't get to snap your fingers and have every need met immediately. You need to work for things. You create concepts like money, all these limiting concepts. It's frankly very confusing, and I'm not so much, you know, I don't want to sound down on Patent and Scheinfeld, but at the same time, I'm no longer a fan of their teaching style. You know, they're saying all of the same consistent things in a way as Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy, but they're very light on what to do, right? And also the concept of why would you be this unlimited being, then create this limited playing field, right? And then allow yourself to wake up to the reality and then grow back into this infinite mindset. Some of it, honestly, doesn't make complete sense to me. And it kind of leaves you stranded. At least it did me. I just constantly, running in circles. Like, okay, so you're not supposed to want anything because that's going to cement the idea of lack, which, perfectly true. But then it's like, okay, then what? Right? Every time I want something, I'm damning myself to staying in that state that I don't want to be in. I'm not supposed to judge anything. So if I judge the state I'm in is not good enough, I'm also damning myself to stay in it. It left me completely frustrated and almost like depressed, like you can't get out, like you're a crab in a bucket and you can't get out. Because you know all these things, but how the heck do you end up, And with Scheinfeld, it's like unlimited coaching, right? You got to constantly buy this guy's stuff. So when I stumbled across, and it's amazing that Neville Goddard material has been out there since before I was born, and I'd never heard of him ever. And all the self-help stuff, all the stuff I was searching for, I never heard of Neville Goddard until very recently. I can't even remember how I came across his name. I think I read it on Reddit somewhere. And I was like, who's this Neville Goddard? And then I looked into it, and I eventually through that found the Joseph Murphy and the whole idea of their connection to Abdullah. And so anyway, my whole thing is, why even bring this stuff up? Because it's been an interesting evolution, and also a warning that if you find the wrong, or what I consider the wrong material, it can leave you, spinning your wheels, so to speak. I really think the Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy stuff is the way to go. So, so I just wanted to say that. But even though the Pat and Scheinfeld stuff is consistent in many ways, I just consider it incomplete. They never really completely tell you, okay, actionable plan, what do you do? Whereas with Neville Goddard and the others, it's, your subconscious mind, this is what you have to do. You basically, essentially the affirmations, the mental diet, the visualizing before bedtime, the SATS, and then you've got these other things like, isn't it wonderful? The whispering technique, the, being grateful, and all these different things that we mentioned that are in a lot of my videos. And oddly enough, I mean, you're always manifesting, right? So all through that time when I was with that other material, I was manifesting things, and I was manifesting a great change of life. But I can't help but think, would it have taken a shorter amount of, what we consider time, had I known, this more streamlined, what I call a more streamlined logical method. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud here, and it's almost like a discussion type of thing, even though I'm monologuing here. Feel free to put your thoughts below. Maybe you don't have any thoughts because you don't know about this other material I was mentioning. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting enough to comment on and to put onto my channel, and basically say, continue on with the affirmations, the positive stuff, the mental diet, watching your mental diet, pruning the tree of the mind to prune out the negative, and, keep that thing producing the right kind of fruit, right? For your journey, positive journey, positive outcomes, right? I mean, of course it's okay you're going to judge everything. That's why these other guys said you can't judge anything. How can you, everything is a judgment, one way or the other. True, staying in judgment of something negative will help cement it in place, but you have to initially make that judgment in order to change your mind, or to at least formulate the direction in which you would like to take things, and then work from there. So, I find that finding the Neville Goddard material has greatly helped me, right? Helped me. I don't feel stuck anymore. I don't feel stuck. And, the whole ladder technique, which proved that, man, something really is going on here, whether you believe it or not. It's like, and the whole idea, you don't even have to believe in order to do this stuff. I mean, the whole idea of belief, it's like a two-way street. If you really believe that you have no control over your 3D, and you really believe that, nothing you think can affect your reality, then of course that's the way it will be for you. But you're still manifesting. You're still manifesting. Your life is still a manifestation. Denying who and what you are doesn't change who and what you are. Really, who you are. And really what you are. So I can't help but think of when I was reading through some of the reviews for an auto patent book that I have, and the books seem to be almost out of print. Like some people are charging $100 a copy for a little paperback thing, and I got mine like 12 years ago. So one of the reviews, amongst all the positive reviews saying, this is great material, it's really helped me, enlightened, and all that, and this guy come in and say, that he hates to be the contrary opinion, but he's like just ridiculous. He's saying it's ridiculous to think that your thoughts could impact your reality. I mean, there's no, honestly, that's the way most people think. That's the way most people think, and for him, that is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But he's still manifesting his life based on his beliefs. He just doesn't realize it. So why not, affect your life? But again, a lot of these manifesting coaches and people will say you don't have to truly believe, just do it. And that's good too. That's powerful. You don't have to believe. You can just do it. So, sorry, I've got to cut this short for obvious reasons. Please like and subscribe and check out my other videos.